That is great.
So what are we looking to accomplish today?
I think, and I was talking to um, David last night, who's in the group, and he just
Mhm.
finished his first book since joining
Mhm.
the group. I'm proud of him, and
Yeah.
he wanted to see what the mastering part is, because he said he
Yeah.
went through and cut out. It's clean audio, and now he
Mhm.
wants to meet ACX standards. So maybe you could act like I don't know anything and just
Okay.
like run through what you would do for a track. And if you want to do it on your own, if you want to do some work, share a screen and actually do some work, that works great.
Yeah. So I kind of figured that's where we were going because of the conversations we've had
Mm-hmm.
recently. So I recorded a bit of the next audiobook that I'm starting. I'm actually up to 5 offers now. Yeah, the most recent one that I just accepted is for a short one. It's only going to be like an hour and a half, but the one that I'm working on now is going to be a few hours finished, and they're both royalty share. But I think after these two, I'm going to be very selective about
Okay.
whether I do royalty share or not. It's going to have to be something that I am either really interested in doing, or something I can just knock out short if the author seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
And I think from here out, it's going to be per finished hour or royalty share plus, which is
Right.
a combination of both.
Yep.
Because it's a lot of work, you
Yep.
know. You're talking 4+ hours per finished hour. It's no joke. And if you're not really, you can't eat royalty share. So
I think that's good. I
yeah,
think it can work. The royalty share plus, I think, is a great idea, or
yeah.
just regular. But I think up, at the start, you kind of just have to do a couple royalty shares to get cut your
Mhm.
teeth, and it's
You're
worth. It's almost like you're being educated by this
Yes,
process.
they are fantastic resume builders,
Yeah.
and they're great practice. So I mean that's why. And some of the authors that I've worked with so far have been really great, and two of them are debut authors. Like this is their first book, so I think it in the long run helps both of us. Um, and I'm definitely, I'm definitely into helping boost, other independent artists.
Right.
So yeah, but so I did just a couple minute snippet of the first chapter of the book that I'm just about to start. Actually, it's only about 37 seconds, but it'll be a good demo.
Perfect. Are you able to share your screen?
Yep, 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 yep,
Very
yep.
nice. Okay. Share away.
I am.
Now, you said you have, do you use the ACX check plugin?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yep.
that's something that has come out since I've done my last book on ACX. So I'm
Mhm.
about to use that. But um, where can someone find that if they don't have it yet?
That is if you go onto the Audacity website. And really, if you just search for it on Google, search Audacity ACX plugin, it it's like the first search result, and it comes right up. And it's super easy to install. It's just you go to the plugin manager, tools, plugin manager. Oh, you guys can't see that. Crud. Nope. Hang on. Let me change how I'm sharing. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. We're going to share the entire screen and see if that. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
All right. And actually, we'll just let it take up the whole screen. Okay. So, yeah, you go to plugin manager and it's in here somewhere. where is it? Sample data export, debreather, Nyquist. Oh, okay. So it's what's called a Nyquist plugin, and they're identified with a .ny as the file extension. And there is actually a separate manager for that. And it is Nyquist plugin installer. And then you basically go in, find the .ny file, and just hit apply, and it installs it. And you probably want to, once you're done installing it, you want to restart Audacity. And then it's going to be, to find it, it's going to be right here under Analyze and ACX check. So if I just do an analyze on this. So, and this is actually raw audio. Let me see if... Hang on. I think I forgot to share screen, window, also share audio. Hopefully this doesn't start echoing or anything. Share, be careful sharing screen audio. Other participants will hear themselves. Well, I can't share a single. Yeah. Okay. I can actually mute it and only turn it on when we need it. So this itself is raw audio.
Okay.
And I can play, so if we do the ACX check on it, it gives us an idea as to where it is. And I'm still, with the new microphone, I'm still fiddling around with the settings on my on my interface. So, but this does seem to work. So this is telling us that it's too quiet, that it's too noisy. So, and if we listen to it, okay, so definitely not EQ'd. You can hear the hiss and the clicks from my voice and stuff like that. But my workflow after I do the initial recording, my workflow is I've got a couple of macros that I set up, and I'll show you what they are first. First one here is duplicate and rename. And I hit that. What it does is it duplicates the audio to a new track, changes the name of the first track to original audio, and it mutes the original track. So at that point, I just fold it up and I don't touch that one again. And then at this point, I would actually save the file.
Okay, so for your workflow, I'm going to put this little thing on here where people can look at it without, let's say, without your macro.
Okay.
What all are you going to do to it that they can find in their thing, and then maybe we can talk about like setting up the macro.
Yeah.
So like,
okay.
What do you do? Noise reduction, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing I do with these is I highlight the track, the original recording, and we do edit and then duplicate, or Control D. That duplicates the track.
Okay.
And then at this point, what I do is I go up to the first track, which is entitled Audio. Now they're both named Audio 1, but I hit the little three dots and I go to rename track. And then I call it whatever you want, but I call it original audio. Oops. And of course I learned to spell. Okay. And then I mute it and I fold it up. So now it's there. So if I royally screw something up and I have to go back, if I completely mess something up and have to go back, I have that raw recording. So I don't have to. Okay. So I have something to go back to and I don't have to re-record it. At this point, what I will do is do my first pass edit. And that includes correcting any mistakes, removing mistakes, which I designate with my dog clicker. Okay. My dog training clicker, because it shows up as a real good spike in the audio. So you can identify it really quickly, go in, pull that mistake out. The other thing while I'm doing that, I will listen to it and I will actually read along with it to make sure that I didn't miss a word, that I didn't say something that's not in the text, because like for me, my brain has a tendency to fill in things or change words as to how I would say them as opposed to how they're actually written. And then at this point, once I've got my first pass edit done, I will actually duplicate again. I highlight this. And you don't have to do this, but I like to set it up so that any major changes, I will duplicate so that I, again, have something to go back to if I mess something up. So this one, I'm going to call it first pass edit.
Okay.
So now I know I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mute that. I'm going to fold it up. And now I know that I have anything I needed to re-record or correct. I've got all that set up. I haven't done anything with pacing yet. At this point, now it's ready to be EQ'd. So from here, first thing I do is I highlight the track and then I go to EQ and filters. I go to Effect, EQ and filters,
okay,
and then Filter Curve EQ.
Okay.
And in here, there's 3 settings that I use. I go to presets and settings, factory presets. The first one I will do is a treble boost. And you do have to play around with these, which is what I'm still doing with this microphone because it's new. You have to kind of play around and see, because if you have a microphone that's a little on the brighter side, you may not want to do the treble EQ. So this is the first thing. And this is just a default setting. I don't change it. So then I choose that, hit apply. You'll see there's a little bit of change on the track, not a whole lot. And then we go back to Effect, EQ and filters again, Filter Curve EQ again. This time we're going to go to presets and settings, factory presets, and go to bass boost. Again, if you have a microphone that's a little, I call it muddy, but you may not want to do this or do it as much. So, and then I hit apply. Now you'll see it in here. And then we go to, one more time, we go to Effect, EQ and filters, again to Filter Curve EQ. And this time we're going to choose factory presets. We're going to choose low roll off for speech. And you'll see that rolls off. Basically, it's a low roll off. It lowers this a little bit, the bottom end. So we hit OK. Now you won't see much change. Now, here comes the ACX specific thing. One of the first ACX specific things that we do, or I do. So we go to Effect, Volume and Compression, Loudness Normalization. Because to meet ACX standards, your overall RMS has to be between 22 and 18, minus 22 and minus 18 dB.
23, I believe.
Oh, 20. Yes, right. 23. So I always set mine to 21 because it's a good middle ground. So I set that to 21. This doesn't really matter.
You use the loudness normalization and then the RS. Okay.
Yep. An RMS instead of perceived loudness. That's just what I've found works. I haven't actually found a huge difference between perceived loudness and RMS. So this may get this when you do this, it may get ugly depending on if your audio is too quiet or too loud. Okay, so now we see there's a significant jump in here. And you might also see, okay, so I'm not clipping anywhere, which is good. So if we run through this, you won't see any red, which is really kind of what you want. And at this point, there are two other things that I run. One is the what's called the declicker, and this is an add-on for it's a plugin, and if you go to do in Google search, do Audacity and declicker. It shows up. It's like the first one. It's another Nyquist plugin, so you go through and do the same process. And I can actually, if we post this on the school group, I can actually I can go through and find them and link them real quick.
Okay, that would be awesome. I like that.
Yeah. So now we go run through the declicker. The only settings that I change on this are the number of passes. I set it to 4. It takes a lot of extra time if it's a long file, but I have found that there's enough of a difference because I have a really loud mouth. So you'll hear a lot of clicks and pops and, the mouth noises. And I have, I'll sit here and drink all day long and I just don't, my mouth noises for some reason don't go away.
Good deal. That's good.
Yeah, but if you find that you don't have it, you don't have to do as number of passes. I would run it anyway, just in case, because there might be some that you don't quite pick up. So I run it, and this one it won't take too long to run. So it goes through, and I found if it's a long file, I'll just go refill my water, and by the time I come back, it's done. Okay, so that goes through and does the declicking. And if you see, there'll be little spots throughout where there's like a little tiny spike, and you'll see those disappear.
Okay.
Now at this point, I don't usually run the ACX check yet, just because I'm usually set at this point. As far as I know, I have to run one more thing, but I'll run it just to show you. Okay, so now the file's too noisy still, and it's too the peak level's too high. You want it less than -3 dB.
Okay.
So now what we have to do is we're going to run the limiter, and the only two things that I change here are the threshold and the makeup target settings. I set them to -3.1. So it's just under 3, -3.
Okay.
So then I just hit apply, and you'll see some things shrink. And we want to go to, again, now is when I usually run the ACX check. And you'll see, okay, so the peak level's good. The RMS level is good. The noise floor is a little too loud. It's -47 dB. Noise floor must be lower than -60. So, whenever I record, I always do a 5-second lead in of room noise. So I've got a good chunk of the audio that I do noise reduction on. So I select the first 5 seconds of audio, and I go to effect, noise removal and repair, noise reduction. And then the first step is get noise profile. And this just reads this section and sees what the ambient noise is in the room. So at this point, it's got the noise profile. I go and I select the entire file, the entire track, and I hit back to effect, noise removal and repair, and noise reduction again. And this time we do step 2. Now, the default is 12, 6, and 6. I pushed the noise reduction just a teeny bit from 12 to 15, and that seems to get it more consistent without pushing it too low.
And that's the reduction, that like reduce it by 12 to 15. Okay.
Yep. And it's really, and it's, you can most people that I've seen, the -12 works.
Yeah, that's what I leave mine on.
Yeah. And part of the reason I do -15 on mine is because my computer has too many fans in it. Yeah. So I get a little bit of that, which that's going to change because I'll be getting a new computer for doing recording that is fanless. So at this point I just hit okay, I run it, and you'll see how things reduce just a little bit. And here there should be nothing more than just a little bit of a hiss. Now, if I run the analyze on it again, ACX check, now we're good. We're at peak level -3.13. RMS level is -21.24. And then the noise floor is 62 dead on, -62. So everything now is passed. So if I were to take this at this point and upload it to ACX, it would pass. It wouldn't get rejected.
Now, how did you check your noise floor? How are you doing that?
I just did right through ACX. Through the ACX check.
Is that oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because it does all three. It hits all three of the standard requirements.
Good deal. Okay.
Yeah. So and I use this for the stuff I post on TikTok and YouTube as well. So
your stuff always sounds great.
To me it's they know what they need, and for doing spoken word stuff, that seems to be a really good way to go. I'm
sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say the front and back. What do you do about those?
Yeah. So, and that's another reason why I leave 5 seconds. I also leave 5 seconds at the back end, because with ACX, they recommend having at least 1 second of silence, not dead silence, but just silence. And the easy way, you can do it one of two ways. You can, the way I do it, pop that off there, is I add a mono track, and I make sure that I go up here to this little gear for timeline options, and I change it to beats and measures. So now you've got dark gray, light gray. And what you'll find is if you select a dark gray and a light gray, it equals 1 second of audio. So down here, you'll see where it says selection. You'll see where it says 1 second with a dark gray and a light gray selected. So generally what I will do is I'll, select around a little bit ahead of the first light gray, and then I'll drag that up to here a little before it starts, and we hit delete, and it pulls it down to just have the 1 second. And then I do the same. I do similar at the end, where I'll go to the end of it, and I'll see where the thing is here, and I'll start here, and then I'll jump there, so I know there's 1 second at the end, roughly, and then I'll whack it.
Nice.
So now I've got 1 second at the end, 1 second at the beginning, and again, that meets their standards. They don't like giant holes between chapters and stuff.
Right. Okay.
So now at this end, and let me play this real quick so we can hear the difference. One day, my irascible contempt for not following the status quo would catch up to me. Or so I was told countless times by family, friends, and coworkers. You hear it enough times and you stop counting. Lee Kimball, my old partner and field training officer from the San Diego Police Department, and someone I used to think was my friend, told me this probably more times than anyone. Besides my father, of course. And I didn't listen to him either. So it is definitely better than it was at this point. And from here, I will go through and I'll listen to it. And at this point, because I know the words are accurate, I've got it EQ'd. I will do two things at this point. I will go through and listen to it for pacing, so that there's no like gaps where there shouldn't be, or there's too long of a gap between a sentence or whatever, and I'll change that. The other thing, because I am still learning good breath control, I might have a couple of gasping breaths in there, which I have trying like hell to change to not do that. But it's a process, you know. And that video that you posted a couple weeks ago, it was definitely something. It's really good exercise to go through and learn how to, you know, breathe normally instead of which
right.
I swear sometimes I sound like I'm drowning.
Dying horse scenario.
Right. So, and the thing, so here's the catch though. If you have those loud breaths, you don't want them in there, because those loud regular breaths, no problem. Loud breaths will take the listener right out of the audio.
Yeah.
So we'll just use this one for example. So here's a couple things. I'll turn the audio back on so you can hear it. If I'm okay, so not horrible, but you know, so now here you have two choices. You can either reduce it, delete it, or yeah, that's it. Reduce or delete it. Now, what I do, you got to be careful when you reduce it though, because I'll show you what can happen. If you go, well, how I do it is with a normalize, not the loudness normalization, but normalize. So I go to effect, loudness, volume and compression, and then normalize. And this has just like one setting on it. And I have it set to 65 because I found that it makes it so that it might still be audible, but it's not as distracting. The other problem is that if you make it too quiet, then ACX will bark at you. And then you have another problem. And I'll show you that. I'm going to set it to 75. So this is going to make it dead silent. But I'll use it as a demo, as a demonstration. So now it's gone. And now you can't hear it.
Yeah.
But here's the fun part. Now we go back to analyze and run an ACX check. So this is still good. I have run into it. So say you've got another instance where you might run into this problem that I was trying to demonstrate, is where, okay, there needs to be you listen to it and it's you go to pacing, and there needs to be more of a gap here. It's too quick going from one sentence to another. So you would find where you want to split it, right click on the audio and do split clip. So now you can take and move it apart. And then at this point, now I can highlight the whole thing, right click on the track and go to join clips. You don't have to do this, but I do. I'll do it if I have to put a gap in somewhere. So now, but you can see there is dead silence in between this. So now if I run ACX, I'm going to cry if this doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. So what, just for the hell of it. So I'll just explain. So what happens if it gets too quiet? If there's too much quiet, if there's dead silence, it comes up and says, your noise floor is too low. Dead silence sounds unnatural. So what you can do to mitigate that is you go to the end of the file here and you sort of, you see where that is, and then you can highlight by hitting Shift and Home. So this highlights the second track. In order to, so what you want to do at that point is you go to Generate, Noise, and you'll see it's set to what you have selected. The amplitude doesn't really matter. The noise type, you want to set that to white. And then you just hit Generate. Now you're going to have a big, ugly noise track in here. And I'll turn the audio on so you can hear what it sounds like. It's like really ugly. Oops.
Hey, can we do I have got another call time now. I was wondering, can we do, let this be part one of, because I mean, and we've done so much, but also we haven't even gotten into some of the other stuff I think is super important. Can we circle back and do another one of these? I don't know, possibly later on or whatever. But this is phenomenal. I'm sorry to run off, but I will I will get off here, and then let's continue this when I have an open end on one side.
Yeah, if you end up, I mean, I'm free all day today, and then I don't have a job, so whenever.
Well, after this meeting, I will reach out one way or another to say either I'm getting caught up in something else or like let's get back on. But I'll reach out one way or another in about an hour.
Yeah, sounds good to me, sir.
Awesome.
I'll leave this as is.
This is
no problem. I love doing this.
Information.
I love doing this. It's